運が悪かったんだよ、お前らは。
Taxi driver, take me to the meeting of destiny. The crossroads of fate. The bar where I used to drink. I feel like this whole story has just been going back and forth to and from Serena, and then a different place, and then back to Serena, and then a different place, and then back to Serena. I want to go to the Sugar Rose Nail Salon personally. Anyway.
レーナ、お前なんでここに？これから錦が来るんだぞ。
だからよ、あなたたち殺し合いでもするんじゃないかと思って。
レーナ。錦、
久しぶりだな、兄弟。レーナ、酒を。10年ぶりだ、お前とこうして飲むのも。
ああ、
面会にも行かなくて悪かった。俺もいろいろ忙しくてな。
そうだろうな。
俺はどうしても100億を手に入れたい。お前が連れているガキとペンダントを渡す。
Just no subterfuge at all. Just straight out with it.
なぜ水木を殺した？
殺す気はなかったんだ。ユミの妹を殺すつもりなんだな。
It was an accident. I tripped and then the knife just slashed her throat open.
お前ら。
すみません。この女、結局口を割りませんでした。
誰が殺せと言った？
親父！待ってください！
ユミの妹なんだぞ。誰が殺せと言った？誰が言ったんだ！
See, it was an accident. He didn't mean for them to kill her.
親父、
He was real mad about it.
片付けておきますから。
He's totally sane and emotionally grounded.
10年間、俺はユミの行方を追い続けた。ユミの妹がセレナで働いていると知り、俺はずっと彼女をマークしてたんだよ。
Not personally. I never actually went and looked at her in person.
はるかのこともそれで知ったのか？
巡り合わせだよな。あの娘はひまわりにいたんだ。俺たちが育ったあの孤児院にな。水木はその後アレスを持ち、そして姿を消した。ひまわりにいた娘も。そして登場界の100億が抜かれる。だがな、
それは
そうだ、ユミの指輪だよ。こいつが現場で見つかったんだ。ユミはいる。近くに必ずな。桐生、これは登場界の戦争だ。お前一人でどうなるもんでもない。悪いようにはしねえ。ペンダントを渡してくれ。
あれははるかにとって唯一残された母親とのつながりだ。お前らの戦争なんて関係ねえ。
変わらねえな。だからユミもお前に惹かれたんだろう。みんなお前の味方をする。昔っからな。
お前俺のことを憎んでいるのか。
わからねえ。だが結局俺はお前を裏切った。風間の親父もな。もう後戻りはできねえ。
まさか風間の親さんを撃ったのは。
なあ、さすがにあん時は手が震えた。
やめてよ二人とも。
なんでだ。親さんに世話になった恩はねえのか。
まだくたばっちゃねえだろう。それに今はシンジも一緒だしな。
おやさん着きました。
お前シンジを盗聴して。
10年前のあの日から俺は誰も信じちゃいない。俺は俺のやり方で登場界のトップに立つ。どうしても水木の娘よこさねえならお前でも容赦はしない。
好きにしろ。だが遥かを渡さねえ。お前の道具になんかさせやしね
え。今更だがお前とはもう一度一緒にやりたかった。だがもう今日限り兄弟じゃねえ。
なんでこんなことになっちゃったの。
Now I have to rearrange the chairs.
親父、手はず通りで。
ああ、やってくれ。
はい。
So I like that at first Nishki comes in being like, hey man, I really just need the 10 billion. Like, you know, my life plans at the moment. the fucking itinerary that I got laid out for me, I really just need it. So like, you really gotta just do that for me, dude. But I think it's also like insightful about Nishki's character from that scene is like he has no subterfuge. He has no ability to like. He's too straightforward for his own good for the role that he's trying to play in the story. Like he's trying to play this like, oh, I'm a man of power now. And I'm in this race to the top to fulfill my ambitions. To become, like, to get to the top of the Tojo. And I'll do whatever it takes in order to get there. I'll shoot my adopted father if that's what it takes to become the leader of the Tojo clan. But it's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that, though. Like, you're saying, oh, I'm willing to do whatever it takes, but in reality, you're just doing shit that's completely unnecessary, but you think it's hardcore. And you don't have to, it doesn't have to be this way. This scene's great, though. He's dead! Jesus Christ, Kiryu, you fucking killed him. My God, as my witness, he's broken in half.
お久しぶりです、桐生のおじき。親父の命令です。恨まんでください。やれ!
Quick, jump down into the crowd of people with swords who could just hold their swords up and impale you on them. Remember this guy, Koji Shindo. Remember him. He will be important later. Not in this game, but like... it's this thing of Nishki's trying to... He's trying to portray himself as this hardcore badass. As this, like, ruthless... And he, to a degree, he is. Like, he is ruthless. He is, you know, he shot his own adopted father. He's willing to go to war with his brother, who, like, gave up his life to protect him 10 years ago. But he's not smart. He's not a smart man. Because he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do any of that shit. If he had been straightforward and said, like, Kiryu, I just want the 10 billion. I don't want to hurt the girl. And to be honest, you don't care about the fate of the Tojo or the 10 billion yen, right? That's not your problem. This is my thing, but I'm willing to help you. The reason that everyone else wants Haruka is because they want to use her to get the 10 billion, but I'm willing to work with you to solve this mystery and protect Haruka so that other people won't be targeting her to get the 10 billion yen. What a badass. Instead of going that route, instead of trying to say, Kiryu, I will cooperate with you, he turns around and just defaults to using force of arms. To, I'm gonna take what's mine and I'll kill whoever I gotta kill in order to get it. He's not smart, but he is, willing to get dirty. But that can only get you so far. That's not gonna help you after a certain point. It's this running thing of, Nishki is, an antagonist, but he's not Kiryu's antagonist. Kiryu is his antagonist. Nishki is not presenting obstacles in the path of Kiryu's journey for the truth. He's throwing his men at him and being like, kill this guy. Fight the Kiryu. Kiryu just beats him up and walks away. Nishki is not presenting a narrative conflict. He's brute force sending dudes to fight Kiryu. And trying to present himself as being this influential player. He's trying to present himself as being I'm at the chess table and I'm moving the pieces around. But really, he's not he's playing checkers. He's playing checkers. And everyone else is fucking, checkmating him and using him. And he doesn't even realize it's happening. He thinks he's a player. When really, he's just as ground level in this as Kiryu is. But he thinks he's a mover and a shaker. He thinks he's doing whatever he gotta do in order to get things done. When really, Kiryu is, blind and has no idea what he's doing, and he's getting further than Nishiki has managed to get with all of the men under his command. Kiryu is Nishiki's final obstacle. Nishiki is almost completely irrelevant to everything Kiryu has had to deal with so far. Outside of, the beginning of the game when he went to jail.
Hora. 今日の稼ぎだ。
ご苦労だった。
おいおい、もっと感謝してみせろよ。今日の分だけであんたの欲しがってた金額はクリアできてんだぜ。
そうか。恩に着る。
そうそう、初めからそう言えよ。ま、今日はでかい取り立てが久々にできたんだ。組長さん、あんたラッキーだぜ。ま、借金まみれでギャンブル狂いの医者にも感謝した方がいいな。
医者？
でもあの野郎も急に金ができたから返済するとか抜かしやがって、一体何やりかしたんだろうな。
そいつからいくら切り取ったんだ
？3000万だ。親の遺産でも入ったのかね。
何なんだ。3000万用意できますか。
野郎、どこに行きやがった。
So remember what I said about how it was Nishki's fate to go to jail for killing Dojima? Well, fate has a way of coming back and collecting its due.
日吉先生でしたら私たちナースも困ってるんです。さっき急に院長に辞表を渡したとかで逃げるように出て行ったっきり連絡もつかなくて、何かあったんですか？
クソみてえなやつにも頭下げて死ぬ気で金を用意したってのに、今までの時間は一体何だったんだ。もう優子には時間がねえってのに。
Nishki's voice actor is so fucking good. I cannot give enough props to that guy. Like, all of those scenes were written, you know, like fucking 10 years after the original game. But it does feed into that idea of the story of, like, when Kiryu took the fall for Dojima's murder, he like, set their life off track. Kiryu was meant to like take over his own family. Nishiki was meant to go to jail for Dojima's murder. Yumi was meant to, well, we'll find out more about her. But when Kiryu tried to like take responsibility for Nishiki's life choices, that disrupted fate's intentions for both of them. And while Nishiki seemingly benefited from Kiryu's sacrifice, ultimately fate just sent him, you know, on a course of false hope. Oh, here we go. It took away everything that he seemingly gained. That and his own bad choices. And speaking of Kazuma, they mentioned him shooting Kazuma earlier. Like it's sort of a lot of this I don't feel is like necessarily front and center intentional, but there is this idea of in the same way there's that idea of fate of Kiryu and Nishiki's fate and like Kiryu kind of like setting things off course. Who is the orchestrator of that fate? Who is the one spinning the... what's it called? The weave? The weaver of fate? Yeah. Who's the one weaving this tapestry of fate for Kiryu and for Nishiki and everyone in the Yakuza underworld? It's Kazuma. Kazuma is the one orchestrating the course that these men's lives are supposed to take. what did Kazuma say? Like, when they got word that Dojima absconded with Yumi and Nishiki went after them. He said, Kiryu, don't go and try and help. Stay here, because this is gonna go bad, and it's gonna go bad for you if you get involved. You can't go get involved in this. That's the kind of man Kazuma was. He heard, like, oh, my adopted daughter got kidnapped by my technical boss. Just don't go and try and help, adopted son. It's fine. We'll deal with this. Those are 3 defining traits for Kazuma. He's ruthlessly intelligent but benevolent. Those are the 3 things you could describe Kazuma as being. Ruthless, intelligent, and benevolent. Like, he's willing to do what's gotta get done, he's willing to make the hard calls without hesitation, and use whoever he has to use, and get them to do whatever they got to do, and put them through whatever he has to put them through, in order to accomplish his goals. But his goals are ultimately beneficial. He does want to make everyone's lives who's involved with his plans better in what he wants to achieve, and he's got the smarts, he's got the street smarts and the networking connections and the higher, like, perspective of the whole situation in order to make the thing, in order to know what to do, in order to make things happen. We've already seen the importance that tattoos play in the world of Yakuza. We know that Kiryu's tattoo is the dragon. We know that Nishiki's tattoo is the koi fish. We know that Shimano's tattoo is the tiger, because of what that represents for his character. And how he gets by on sheer raw power and strength, just brute force alone. Just bull rushing forward. But we know that Shimano is a peer of Kazuma. Like, they're at least equal in terms of affluence and influence. That's why Shimano was able to get under Nishiki's skin and get inside his head so well in that flashback scene. Like, Shimano was able to get as far as he did on pure power and strength and brute force alone. But Kazuma is at that same place through subterfuge. Through manipulation, through influencing events, through plucking the string in order to send the ripple along the web, in order to make what he needs to happen, in order to manipulate the situation and get that little bit further ahead and get that extra power. We never find out what Kazuma's tattoo is. We never see him shirtless. Ooh la la. I like to think, personally, that Kazuma's tattoo would be that of, I want to make sure I don't mispronounce it. What's it called?
Nani?
A Jorogumo. A Jorogumo or a Tsuchigumo, which is a Japanese spider demon. Because I think of all the animals, or like mythological creatures that represent Kazama, it's a spider. He is a spider, like, catching people in his web and using them as pawns in order to expand his influence. The entire, like, underground of Tokyo is his web. and he spins the fate of everyone involved with it. So that's why when Kiryu went off script and changed their fate, it threw everything out of alignment. All of a sudden, Nishki wasn't something that he could have control over anymore in a bad way. And he was just floundering in the wind alone, making bad decisions, being motivated by grief and guilt. And it sent him into a place that he could never come back from. It sent Kiryu off to jail. It sent Yumi off to who knows where. And ever since Kiryu got out of jail, he's been trying to salvage the situation, which has gotten further and further out of his control. Because his children, the people that he overlooked, possibly because of his expectations and his affections for them, he wasn't able to utilize them effectively. Or, like, he gave them too much credit, maybe. Like, they took too much from him, and that made them think that they could do more than they should have been able to do. It's hard to put into words. But I think Kazuma's tattoo would be a Jirogumo. If we ever got, like, a prequel game set before Yakuza 0 about Kazuma and Kazuma's rise to power, and maybe, like, involving his, like, rivalry with Shimano, about, like, the good old days of the Dojima family and etc., stuff like that, I think we would see, in that hypothetical Kazuma-focused prequel Yakuza game, that his tattoo is that of a Jirogumo, or a spider demon. And speaking of Nishiki being ruthless to the point of, like, self-defeatism, to the point of, like, ruining his own plans, we see how all of Kazuma's children inherit an aspect of his personality, of his strengths. We see that Nishiki has taken his ruthlessness, his drive to do absolutely fucking anything that it takes in order to get ahead. But he doesn't have the benevolence, he doesn't have anyone's best interest at heart. He doesn't even have his own best interest at heart when you think about it, because he's too fucking, like, he's too far gone. He just has a naked ambition and trying to prove that he's better than Kiryu. At this point, that's what motivates him. And he's not smart. He's not fucking smart at fucking all. He's a fucking dumbass. And then you have Kiryu, who is benevolent, who does have everyone's best interest at heart, who does want to help people, but he's dumb. He's also not very smart, and he's not willing to do what needs to be done. He's too stuck in this idea of, like, a rigid honor system, or this sense of obligation to others, or like this standard that he holds. He's not willing to do what would probably make the situation better for everyone else, and would probably resolve the conflict in a better way than just taking it on in a straightforward manner. and trying to like have everyone and trying to help everyone. He would probably help more people if he was willing to get down and dirty. But he's not. So ultimately, more people get hurt than would probably get hurt if he wasn't such a good guy. If he wasn't such a straightforward, like what's the opposite of ruthless? Like
Boy.
Curious about that now. Antonyms. Merciful? Yeah, compassionate. If he wasn't so compassionate, if he wasn't so sympathetic, he would probably be able to help more people than his, like, straightforward, compassionate outlook. If he was more ruthless, he would probably help, but he didn't inherit that from Kazuma. Nishiki did, and then there's the intelligence, and who inherited the intelligence? Well, Yumi hasn't been in the game quite so much thus far. And unfortunately, she's not going to show up until, like, the fucking ending. So, I don't want to wait that long to talk about her. Fuck you. I'm just going to talk about her now. She inherited Kazuma's intelligence. Yumi pulls some fucking Machiavellian shit. She outsmarts practically everyone in the plot. Almost up to and including Kazuma. And the only reason she doesn't outsmart Kazuma is because he figures her out and then starts working with her. And we already know that much because Kazuma told Kiryu he knows what happened to Yumi. And what her involvement with the whole 10 billion yen plot is. So she did pick up... She managed to, like, get the smarts when it came to that hand-me-down relationship. But she ain't a good person. But she's also not willing to do the down and dirty shit that needs to get done. And we're gonna see that when she actually comes into the game. I'm gonna be able to show you examples of it once she's actually on screen. Time to beat Yakuza 0 like the dead horse it is. Hey guys, did you play Yakuza 0? Don't pay attention to what's happening on the screen right now. That's pretty funny, though. This is another reason that well, in relation to a sub-story that happens in Yakuza 6, this is another reason I don't think Yakuza Kiwami is canon. Because there's a sub-story in Yakuza 6 that contradicts what we're seeing right now. That contradicts this sub-story. Just got date raped. Just got fucking date raped. What I feel. Feel like you just got date raped. I wish I could, I mean, like, to a degree, I'm willing to talk about spoilers in order to discuss, like, story and themes and shit. But I kind of don't want to spoil too much, because there is some stuff that happens at the end of the game that we don't know about yet. But it makes it hard to talk about, like, the whole Kazuma connection with his kids, with Kiryu, Nishiki, and Yumi. I mean, on the other hand, you know, Yumi and Nishiki don't have that much, and Kazuma don't have that much screen time. The story isn't quite so much about them. It's about Kiryu, you know, coming into his own and getting his agency as an individual and being able to decide his own course in life. But, you know, what is he breaking away from? He's breaking away from Kazuma's machinations. And we see the inheritors of Kazuma's legacy are his kids, Kiryu, Nishiki, and, well, we know what's gonna happen to him. Or do we? Is it like, obvious? I feel like it's a little bit obvious. I feel like we can all see where it's gonna go for Nishiki. And, Yumi. And hey, who's Yumi's sister, Mizuki? And who's Mizuki's daughter, Haruka? So hey, maybe Haruka inherited the intelligence from her mom's sister, who inherited it from Kazuma. And that's why Haruka is sharp as a tack. Because she has, by proxy, like, second-hand inheritance. She is the one who carries on Kazama's legacy in terms of his intelligence and his planning. His ability to spin the web. Maybe she can't catch people in that web. And she has got... Actually, no, when you think about it. Yeah, maybe Haruka really does have the full package. Because she is benevolent. She does want what's best for everyone. Even those who might mean her harm. And she is really smart. And she is willing to pull some bullshit. Yeah, maybe Haruka really is Kazuma 2.0. At the end of it all, Haruka takes the best from everyone she's had contact with. Yumi by way of Mizuki, her mom. Kiryu and her developing relationship with him. She lived at Sunflower Orphanage, which is the orphanage that Kazuma ran.
Yeah.
The only thing she lacks is the fact that she's 9 years old and can't beat the shit out of people. But that's what she got Kiryu for, so, you know. And she's willing to exploit that relationship in order to have Kiryu beat the shit out of people that she wants to get beaten the shit out of. So it's a whole thing. Yeah, she's the triple threat. Smart, benevolent, and ruthless. She's got it all. Just like Kazuma. Kiryu, Yumi, and Nishiki all were raised by Kazuma and took one thing from him. And with that incompleteness, they ended up, you know, kind of destroying each other's lives and his own. But through indirectly coming into contact, or directly coming into contact with all three of them, and what the fruit of what all three of them have done, Haruka ends up taking the best from all three of those individuals and comes out as a more effective... Yeah, kind of a throwaway sub-story. I think they just threw this in here because Chapter 8 kind of doesn't have anything else happening in it. In terms of, non-main story related content. Yeah, Haruka ends up coming out the other end being kind of the legacy. The unintended legacy to carry on Kazama's will, at least in terms of the themes that this game portrays. And the importance of the story. Obviously, as the game series goes forward, we're gonna get a little bit away from that, but in terms of this one game that was written as one game, and not the first game in a series, back in 2005, that's my takeaway. That's my analysis. Are you impressed by it? Should be, dude. Yeah, EMTs. Your scene isn't safe, dude.
Haruka. Kiryu. That's Haruka.
Oh, she got kidnapped again.
奴らまさかここまで派手にやってくれるとは。
何があったんだ。はるかはどうした。ほんの1時間くらい前。
At what point do you not just go, seriously, dude? Again? With this shit? This is the fourth time in like 2 days.
はるか。何してるんだ。
私やっぱりここにいちゃいけない気がする。
See, look.
私桐生の
She's on it. She's on the ball.
だけど私がここにいるとおじさんに迷惑がかかっちゃう。何度も危ない目に遭っちゃう。
はるか。
だから私はいなくなった方がいいの。お母さんももういないし。本当はもっとおじさんたちと一緒にいたかったけど。
Yeah, harmless explosion that she was standing 2 feet away from. Yeah, I'm glad I talked about that, because that's a perfect fucking example. There she is, with all 3 of those main traits I talked about. She cares about Kiryu and everyone else that she's involved with, that she's met so far. She's smart enough to read the room and know what's going on with this situation. And she's ruthless enough to admit, I don't even have a reason to be here anymore. My mom's dead. I should just go back to the orphanage and stop causing trouble for anyone. That's a fucking, like, hardcore thing for a kid, for someone to say. Like, I don't have any more emotional investment in this plot because the only reason I cared was for my mom, and my mom's fucking dead, so I should go. To protect the people that I care about by being a smart little motherfucker and figuring out what's going on and how I'm not contributing positively to that situation. Haruka's fucking hardcore. Haruka's the best. Why don't you love Haruka like... You need to love Haruka as much as I do, or else. I'm sorry. Anyway. So... I was talking over a little bit. We need to go beat up the color coordinating gang here. There are three gangs. The red gang, the white gang, and the blue gang. One of them kidnapped Haruka, and we gotta track him down. Gotta track down the red, white, and blue gang.
奴らのアジトにハルカがいるかもしれん。
Once again, Haruka has been kidnapped. It's time for Kiryu to go beat people up until he figures out what the fuck is going on in this story. You're wearing blue. The blues! The bluesy. So now most, if not all, the random encounters throughout the city are replaced by the color gangs. So everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone that we're gonna come across is involved with the color gangs. And we just gotta run around and beat the shit out of everyone wearing a blue, white, or red sweater until we figure out where Haruka is. See, look, white boys. White Edge! And I do believe the red ones are actually called the Red Devils, if I remember properly, which I probably don't. So don't listen to a goddamn thing I say. Eat shit. You gotta love that there's this fucking, like, 5-way Yakuza Civil War going on, with everyone just, like, fucking with each other, and fighting with each other, and then recruiting associates, like the Color Coordination Gang, in order to get a leg up on the situation. At what point is Kiryu not just like, oh my god, now there's a fucking color-themed gang that I gotta go beat the shit out of too? What's next? Are the triads gonna show up? I'm gonna go have to fight Lao from Virtua Fighter? This is bullshit, said Kiryu. And he wasn't wrong. And he wasn't wrong. Rubbernecker. Don't be rubbernecking. Ah, they kicked them out of the park. That means they're in the park. Time to go beat people up in the park. We are wearing blue, as you can see. You know, a wholesome youth activity. I'm gonna beat you guys with the power of friendship and this gun I found. Look at how little damage that's doing. Are you fucking for real? You can't dodge cancel through my bullets, asshole. It doesn't work. It doesn't work in real life. I've tried it. Yeah. So thankfully the unlocked golden pistol does not substitute, like, it does not allow you to just kind of skip actual story important combat encounters. It does make dealing with the hobnobbery. It does make dealing with the plebeians a lot less aggravating, though. The proletariat.
俺らはチームでも下っ端ですから。でも白の連中なら何か知ってるかもしれません。
Go beat them up instead.
白いギャングか。
Please.
そうです。奴らならその辺にたむろってます。
Please leave me alone and go beat up some white boys. Okay, but if they don't have her, I'm gonna come back and beat you up instead. Ooh, the Red Gang. Are they the Red Devils? Oh, Bloody Eye! No! Red Devils is a cooler name! I've used the power of blue to defeat you, because blue is the better color. Red sucks, blue is better. Eat shit! Okay, where the fuck am I supposed to go? To find the white gang? I'll just run around and beat people up at random until I figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. That usually seems to work. That usually seems to work out when I do that, says Kiryu. If I run around for long enough and beat up enough people, eventually I'll figure out what the fuck is going on. Kiryu, what are you doing? I'm trying to save Haruka. Well, where is she? I don't know. How are you gonna find out? I'm just gonna run around the city and beat people up until someone explains where the fuck she is. Eventually, I'll figure it out. Eventually, someone I beat up will tell me where she is. Oh. I knew where to go because of the plot. Because I've played this game before. I just didn't know if it triggered that, okay, now it is time to go there. Now is the time. Yes, time is now. You're wearing a white puffy jacket. Leader doze.
って言ったら
お前らが怪我をするだけだ。
面白い。やってもらおうじゃない。
Yeah, wrong thing to say to the wrong guy. Kiryu, you're so awesome.
なんだてめえは。
はるかはどこだ。
おっさん、わけわかんねえこと言ってんじゃねえぞら。
Kiryu, you're the fucking best. What an awesome fucking protagonist. Look at this fucking video game character. He's so awesome. I'm just gonna grab you by your face and throw you because I'm Kazuma fucking Kiryu, and that's what I do. Excuse you. Wow. I didn't even mean to kill him. That was an accident. Oh, time to stab you with a mysterious syringe. In the butt, by the way. That's where I'm stabbing you with it. Just to make sure we're all on the same page here. Yeah, doesn't this environment look like it was such a fun area to fight? To have an enclosed fight with, like, 7 dudes in the original PS2 game? Doesn't that sound like it was so fun?
知りません。俺らはブラッディアイの連中に誘われただけで。
ブラッディアイ。
You know that gangs are, you know, so ready to cooperate with one another.
劇場前の広場にデブラっていうクラブがそこが奴らの
God damn, I keep having to go to Debola.
桐生だ。
伊達だ。警察におかしな動きがある。本庁の捜査一課に遥の捜査依頼があったらしい。
一課にどういうことだ。
詳しいことは
Well, they are the kidnapping division.
遥は誘拐の被害者ってことになってる。東上会とは別の組織が動き出したんだろう。桐生、奴らより先に遥を抑えるんだ。急げ。
分かってる。
Suspicious. Curiouser and curiouser. Oh, it's raining. See? You can tell. What, you can't tell? I mean, look at the ground. See that ripple effect? See that? Wow, it like disappears when I look at it. Man, just like... If it wasn't for the puddles and everyone carrying umbrellas, you would and the sound effects, you can barely tell that it's supposed to be raining. I don't know what it is about the engine that they use. It's just it doesn't do weather that well. I don't get it. Maybe it's the filter. Maybe it's the disgusting green filter over this entire game. Well, Haruka can wait. I'm gonna open some lockers. There we go. Yeah. Hold on, Haruka, I'm coming. Just gotta get this meteor from a locker. There we go. Maybe that, like, I don't know. Like, there was that one scene in, Last of Us where the filter loaded in before the cutscene did, so the screen just went completely fucking blue for a second, and it's like, what the fuck? Maybe it's like that. I don't know. Maybe the green filter fucks up the rain graphic effect. I don't know what it is. So once again, we have to beat people up in Club Debola. That is clearly not what it's supposed to be. I don't know what the fuck's with that. Hello, man in red. I'm going to destroy you now.
はるかはどこだ。
はあ？お前誰だ？知っててもお前なんかに言わねえよ。
口の利き方に気をつけろ。
はあ？やるってのかよ、こら。
Bloody eye. Wow, this is gonna be a short one. Oh, wow. Amazing.
お前がリーダーか。
違います。リーダーなら下に。
Wow, look at these bloods. I don't know if that was intentional. I have to assume it was. I have to assume that this was intentional on the developer's part to have it be like a Crips and Bloods kind of thing. What if the Crips and the Bloods and the Latin Kings, what if they all teamed up? And also, instead of Latin Kings, they were the White Edge. Also Japanese. He's so mad. His model in this game is so mad. His model in the PS2 game is not that pissed. Like, he can scowl. He's got a scowly face. But man, he's so pissed off in this game. Eat shit. He's doing Majima's Breaker style. That's something that I haven't talked about because I don't think it's that big a deal. But if you've played the other games in the franchise, every single boss fight in this game is reusing a moveset from a boss or otherwise combat character elsewhere in the series. So, like, Shimano is using the moveset from a boss from Yakuza 0, etc. This guy that we're fighting right now is using Majima's breaker style, etc. Every boss in this game is just reusing a moveset that you would have seen another boss if you've played like Yakuza 3 or Yakuza 4 or Yakuza fucking Kenzan. So that is a complaint that usually gets levied at this game by the you know, the people who are in the know. It doesn't really bother me so much. Like, it does seem, I don't want to say lazy, but it does seem like instead of giving Shimano his own unique boss, God fucking damn, dude. His own unique, like, boss moveset, or like a... What's the term? Pattern. Instead, he's just gonna use Mr. Shakedowns from Yakuza 0, right? So, you don't really get a sense of Shimano's character from how he fights you as a boss in the way that you're kind of supposed to. Because when you're fighting a character as a boss, the way they move and the way they attack, their animation, the animations they use when they fight, is supposed to inform something about their character. You're supposed to learn something about who they are as a person from the way they fight. So if they're just using a boss pattern or a boss moveset from some other completely unrelated character from elsewhere in the series, what are you learning about this character? Where you're learning the developers just copy and pasted the assets and like pattern and moves that this other character that they already had sitting on a hard drive somewhere from a previous game. That's all. You're not learning about who they are. So it's a valid complaint, but it's not one that, like, matters, I don't think. Because, like, it's something that you, as a veteran of the Yakuza series, who has played the other games, would notice. But if you're just playing Yakuza Kiwami as your first game, which is what I have been arguing you should do, it's not something that you would notice. It's not something that would, like, stand out to you as something that is to be criticized, you know? You do kind of miss out on that aspect, that nature of learning about a character by seeing how they fight, what their animations are in their boss fight, which does inform them as a character. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, whatever. They're usually pretty appropriate. It's not inappropriate to give Shimano Mr. Shakedown's moveset. It's fine. Kiryu really likes lifting these people up by their heads and faces.
雇い主は誰に雇われた？
です子供は中華街のランさんのところに
ラウカーロン
Lao from Virtua Fighter.
Lao-さん、これは
先ほどの祝杯に薬を入れました。桐生さん、堂島組の皆さんは我々と対等のつもりなのですか？
何？
偽造パスポートに2000万？我々に敬意を払っていないからそんなことが言えるのです。だから我々は敬意を勝ち取るように努力します。桐生さんにご協力いただいてね。あなたの死に方がむごいほど何よりのメッセージになるのです。では。
Japanese person pretending to be a Chinese person speaking Japanese with a Chinese accent.
遅くなったな、カズマ。
おやす、足が。
何？お前のためなら足の1本や2本。
すんません。
長いは無用だ。すぐに安全な場所に連れてってやるからな。
Any precious bit of screen time we can get for Kazuma so that I can continue talking about that whole aspect of the story. So now we see that Kazuma didn't always have that limp. He got it 2 years ago, sacrificing a part of his body and a part of what made him who he was for the sake of Kiryu, who he recognized as being his legacy, who he was propping up to be able to carry on his legacy. But Kiryu was never going to be able to do that, so it all ended up being for nothing.